Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and this is about Q&A. Why this and why haven't I done this in a long time? Well, I've always tried to answer the questions when you ask them in the comments, just to reply directly. But lately, my channel's been growing, or not lately, it's been growing all the time since I started this in 2020. But there's so much questions which I'm really grateful for. It really, I appreciate that a lot, that you ask those questions from me and not from someone else. Or where do I know how many people you ask these questions from? Maybe you just want to see what I answer. Anyways, thank you for those questions. But it takes quite a lot of time, as you could probably imagine, because we're talking like almost like hundreds per day, not every day, but especially when I release a new video. So it takes a lot of time, and many times there's similar questions from video to video and so on. So I just thought that instead of replying each of you individually, I start to do these Q&As because I guess many people do these. So I hope it saves some time, and then when someone asks me a question which I've already covered in the Q&A, maybe it will be easier for me to just send a link to the video with a time code or something instead of writing, because I always try to answer to the best of my abilities, because there is no stupid questions, in my opinion, only stupid answers. So I had 10 questions here that, comes up regularly. First one is why am I sitting like this? What's my string height, pickup height, and neck relief? I don't know. It depends, because I just said the string height and the neck relief. I said so. I put my pinky around where the neck joins the body, and then on the first fret, and then if I can do kind of Morse coding, so there's little space, then it's usually good. And again, why I'm not measuring that? Some guitar it might be more, some guitar might be less, whatever feels good, because guitars are unique. Same goes with the string height. I just set it where it feels comfortable. I guess my strings are a bit higher than usually, at least when people play my guitars. They are usually like, oh, you have a... Because I like to be able to bend everywhere so that the strings go like, they don't go under my finger. So they are, I guess, a bit higher than usually, and the lower strings are higher. So the bridge is usually like, if this is the low E, wait, you're watching there, so I should like this. So if this is the low string, it's a little bit like this I guess. But I don't know about the measures. I do use a measuring tool when I'm setting guitars for other people, because I also work as a guitar tech. But because then I don't necessarily know, what the people like, so I just kind of use set it up where I want it to be. Then if I measure it and feel that, oh, it's actually quite high, probably over 2 millimeters, I guess maybe I should put it a little bit down. So that again depends. Some guitars it's lower, some higher. Like on this Tokai Strat, this is I think this is 9 or 7 point the radius, so the strings are higher on this guitar than what they were on that, because that's 12-inch radius. Again, so that I'm able to bend easily anywhere that the strings aren't going under my finger. And pickup height, that's the same. Some guitars it's closer and some not. This is I don't know, 2 millimeters. This feels like 2.5, almost 3. So when I said the height, I'm playing just kind of tweaking. Then where it feels like, yeah, the sweet spot, there it is. It feels, you know, where it feels good. That the pickup is picking up what I do just the right way, like I wanted it. And then I just set the neck pickup that the levels are approximately the same, or the feel, the response again. Cool. Number 2, why not digital modelers? My old school paper, I'm old school. Why not digital modelers? Mainly because there's a latency. It's very small. It's not basically audible, but I feel it. So I feel disconnected. I don't get the immediate what I get with real amps. The feel, it's like there's something in between. Very small detail, but just don't feel like with those. The sound quality is probably, you can tell, especially, in the mix or especially in a live situation, but the feel just doesn't inspire me at all. Slight difference, but real deal is I feel connected and it's immediate and there's not a slightest thing of latency and and live, we use in-ears. There's already a kind of little bit when you do this when it comes to your ears, and then if there's digital modeler, it's more. So no, and that's why I love Blue Guitar's Amp 1, which I use live, because it's an analog amplifier. There's nanotube and it's analog stuff happening, and no latency, exactly like the bigger brothers, old school tube amps. That's a new school tube amp. Number 3, real mic cabs versus IRs. Well, this is I use real cabinets, as you probably know, and miking them. Probably the main thing to me is that when I have my cabinets, they're in another room, and miking them, it's like mine. So when it's about IR, somebody else did that. And again, it's a little bit same like with setting up the guitars. Like I can just move the mics a little bit here and there, blend different mics, do this, do that in real time with my, real gear, hands. Don't have to do any computer stuff. Don't really like computers for the sake of computers, but they're just that I'm able to do my job, like mixing. There's one session open, I'm mixing for an album for another band. So yeah, real cabinets, just they're more real experience. There's many great impulse responses, sound-wise, with the modern technology, those dynamic IRs and stuff. There's hardly any difference, but to me, because I play my cabinets reasonably loud, just feel that I get the, because I'm close miking, but still I feel that I get the whoosh, that I'm not necessarily getting with IR, especially like old school non-dynamic IR, which is always the same. Now like Bogren has developed this IRDX technology, and Blue Guitar has the dynamic IR technology, but again, it just models the behavior of a cabinet, how it constantly, changing, because it's real, it's not programmed. So I prefer real mic cabinets because then I'm the driver. I plan the mics, I do this, I do that, choose the speakers, choose the cabinet. But having said that, I've recorded albums. Well, one album, Red Wolf Sessions Volume 1. That was recorded with my two 800s, Sir Reactive Load and Jens Bogren IRs. Mainly his Son of God 2 and Greasy Beard from his first package he ever released, which I actually bought. And after that, when I did the video, then they contacted me, and now we've been working together. And I have my own signature IR, which is on the Lead and Clean pack called Valovirtuos. That kind of overall general good IR, V30 based. That was that. 4. Pedals in front or in the loop. Here in the studio, everything is in front, because I don't use delays or reverbs here, because I add them in the mix. You know, I have a PCM70 there, Lexicon MPX1, TC Electronic D2, Yamaha SPX90. So I'll add those afterwards. So I'm sending the signal from the guitar track to the effect track, and then I'm able to, you know, automate that and do whatever I want. But if I record a delay, if it doesn't work, then what you do? But when you record a dry sound with no like post effects, delays, reverbs in the loop, then you can add those in the mix and maybe automate them. Like many times there's an ending like wow, maybe you've heard some of my videos, then the delay kind of spreads. So I've just automated the delay there. So here is everything in front, and it's a, you know, couple of overdrives, wah-wah, phaser, chorus, booster, so on. So what you would normally put in front. Live, I've sometimes used delay in the loop, sometimes in front. Currently it's in front, but I can't remember if I used it once. So we have a sound guy who, you know, does my volume stuff, and if he feels like adding a delay, then he adds a delay. You know, I'm basically bone dry on the stage, one sound. So that's that. Why 5? Why active EMGs? I just like the feel, how they pick up my sound. It's very consistent. It doesn't color. I can really hear my guitar. You know, if I put, I have several different guitars with EMGs, I can really hear the differences. Sometimes with passives, I feel like I hear more the pickup and not the guitar. So I like it. I like active EMGs. 81, 85, and S and SA single coils are probably my favorites. On a few guitars I have the 5766 set, which is kind of like a hybrid between active and passive. So that's the reason. Feel, and that really hear the kind of the guitar coming through, and it's very consistent and they're quiet. What noise gate I use and how it's set up. Well, here on my studio board, it's a 4-inch Zool. There's the key input, so the signal goes into, first it goes into tuner, then from the tuner's bypass out, it goes to the key input, so the gate is triggering the clean signal all the time. So whatever I do, it opens it when there's, you know, it tracks the gating from the guitar. It's really good. And then no matter how much I add afterwards or less, or how quietly I play or strongly, it doesn't care about that, because it just tracks the clean guitar signal. And I have set it like minimum, so it's not really gating. It's just that it reduces the noise from especially from the overdrives when I play, but it's not gating. On my live board, I have a basic, you know, Bass NS2 noise suppressor. Doesn't have a key input, but you can use it like in the loop. But I just have it as the last thing, you know, just get rid of the hiss. What speakers I have in my cabs? So I have 2 cabinets, 1960 BV and 1960 BX. The BX comes with greenbacks, UK made greenbacks. The BV comes with Marshall vintage UK made vintage speakers. They're made by Celestion. And on the vintage cabinet I have 3 of those Marshall vintages and 1 Celestion V30. On the BX cab I have 2 of those greenbacks that it came with. And then I have a 65M greenback and 75H greenback. I like those a lot. I had T75s in there, but I've never really got along with those. They sound good when you stand in front because they're big and massive, you know, low end and everything, but I've never I've never been able to get a good sound, you know, in the studio miking them. The mids are so weird that it always feel like it's kind of distant. Live when you stand in front, it's kind of cool because it feels really massive. V30s can sometimes feel a bit like this, but when you're recording miking that V30 quality, when it's like this, it's really good. So yeah, T75s live in front, yeah, in the studio. I don't think I've ever recorded. It's always like, doesn't work. V30, greenback, whatever, then it's yes. Number 8, or was this 9, whatever. The difference between Marshall Vintage and Celestion V30s. This is the question that's quite popular debate. I can speak only in my experience. So I've used, I've done albums, tours since 90s. Used tens, probably hundreds of different Marshall cabs and other cabinets. And in my experience, the Marshall Vintage V30, the Marshall Vintage, well, first they're all UK made. They're really consistent. Like they always have sounded pretty much the same. Obviously, every speaker sounds a bit different. Like on my cab, I'll get into that. V30s, some of them are really spiky and not have much low, and some of them are kind of like the Marshall Vintages, like full, not harsh. So that is the difference in general. What I've found, I've always like the Marshalls. Again, my experience, which we're talking tens, hundreds of cabinet speakers, studio sessions, recording sessions. No, I haven't done an analogical test in a laboratory. My test has only lasted for 30 years. So I found the Marshall Vintages to be a bit warmer and fuller. What is in my cabinet? So the 3 Marshall Vintages, they're all a little bit different. One of them is really full and has like a similar top, like a greenback. It's almost like really not quite close to actually the 65 greenback. And then one of them is I don't know, maybe it doesn't have that full low end, but it has more mids. And one which I've mic'd, which I've been using like on my videos, that's the kind of that's it. Everything is really balanced. It's great. The Celestion V30, what I have there, that is really close to the Marshall Vintage I use, but it's a little bit tighter and a little bit aggressive. But we're talking small differences here between all of these. And there's been a great video the other John Brown did. I'll put a link where he compared a lot. So apparently the differences, they're not in the see-through cone, but they are just the paper what was used. Because in 2020, 2021, when I bought my Celestion V30, apparently those are like those good soundings. And now the newer ones, I guess they changed the cone, different batch. Again, it has the 5K peak there. So yeah, Marshall Vintages, they're all UK made by Celestion. I've never had those. They've always been really consistent. Small differences, maybe one has a little bit more lows, maybe one little bit mids, maybe one less, but none of it very consistent. But basically the same speaker. Marshall rates them 70 watt, Celestion 60. I don't know if they are really 70 watt or 60, or is it just like approximate, because it's power handling, you know, how much power it can take. Maybe Marshall just calculates it differently, or maybe they can take more power. Maybe that's why they're a bit fuller, I don't know. So those are the differences in my experience. Why overdrive in front of an amp? Well, I just like this. I've been asked, you know, I have answered this question many times and talked about this on many videos, but it's still very famous question. So I like the feel and how I set it up. The level is quite full, little bit, the drive is a little bit open, no matter if it's SD or clone or 808, just to get a little bit of that clipping gain in there. And I just like the way amps in general behave when you hit them with an overdrive. And then when I kick that off, and I have the low end quite full usually, and my clean sound is, especially live, I just roll down the volume, and the low end drops, but since I have quite a lot in there, it doesn't drop that much. And then when I open the volume, hit the, let's say, super overdrive, if it wouldn't cut the low end on the way in, the sound would be woo, woo. But since it does it, the sound stays tight, because you add more gain, you can really hear when the low frequencies start to distort, and it becomes a little whoop, whoop, whoop. When you add a two screamer or SD, which boosts the mids and cuts the lows, so then the mid frequencies are distorting more or overdriving more in the amp than the low frequencies, so the sound stays tight. So to me, overdrive on, full volume, good sound, overdrive off, reducing the volume, similar kind of sonic character. But if I would have less bass on the amp and wouldn't use an overdrive, if I would set the amp that it's tight when I have everything open, and then when I back it up, it sounds a bit thin. But this way, with an overdrive, basically have a two-channel amp by just using my volume control and kicking the OD on and off. On CYHRA Souls, it's like 90% on. When we have some verses, some stuff where I play a little bit softer, I just kick it off and roll down the volume. That's why. And the feel. I really like the feel, because it compresses a little bit. I like how amps in general behave. Do I give guitar lessons? Yes, I do, via Skype. So I have a website, Euge Valovirta, as we say it in Finnish, or Euge Valovirta in English. There's my contacts email, it's email address. So please email me if you're interested. 1 hour at a time. I have a flat rate, and do them via Skype. I also give homework like PDF practices and whatever. We can go through theory, whatever you want to learn. And I also do mixing lessons. Similar way, I share my screen, or you can share your screen and share the audio, and we can discuss about it. And if you take those lessons, you can also have my mixing template. I use Logic, but we can go through that too, so you can build your own and whatnot. So those are, and we can talk about recording and stuff. Just I'm sharing my. It's not wisdom. It's just few years of experience. Reamping, yes, I do that also. Again, contact me. We can discuss. Many times when I mix albums, I get a DI and amplified sound, whether it's real amp or plugging or whatever. If I feel that works, I use that. If I feel that it needs some improvement, then I reamp the guitars with my real amps, and sometimes I blend those two. And I do reamping just alone, like if I'm not mixing that. But usually I like to kind of do the reamping more when I'm mixing, because then I'm controlling the sound, and then I know exactly how I want the guitars to sound, what amp I'm gonna use and whatnot. Reamping is a little bit, if I'm not mixing, then I'm kind of just reamping a sound that I think would work in a mix. And mixing, like I said, yes, I'll do mixing. Now there's a one band album I'm mixing, so I do that too. I think my rates are pretty reasonable, and we can always find a solution that satisfies both parties. Mixing has actually been my kind of like a main income for the last couple of years, believe it or not. All right, hopefully your question was there, and if it wasn't, hopefully you still found it, this interesting and informative. The next Q&A probably in a few weeks, depending how much videos I publish and how much questions do you ask. But keep them coming. It's I like it to help you, hopefully to help. Well, you know the drill. All right. Hey, thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. All the best. Be nice to each other. See you on the next one. Bye.